You're tuned in to BS with Joe, the podcast where common sense still makes sense. We break down the news, the culture, and the crazy, one blunt conversation at a time. Buckle up. This is going to be good. All right. Welcome to BS with Joe. Today we're going to talk about government control versus freedom. And this discussion is going to be based on a Ronald Reagan quote that I came across. And here's the quote. This was the very thing the Founding Fathers sought to minimize. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling the people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose. They also knew, those Founding Fathers, that outside of its legitimate functions, government does nothing well or as economically as the private sector of the economy.
Yeah, the government shouldn't be involved as much as they are, but
does this feel even more true today than it did in the 80s?
Yeah, there was so much more put into effect, but at the same time, we do need restrictions and regulations.
Well, yeah, I mean, the government, the Founding Fathers developed a system where the government's power was deliberately limited. Because they understood that once the power expands, liberty contracts.
It does. But at the same time, I've seen liberty be given out as far as, and what I'm talking about this with the government control, is the government has freed up the bank's ability to give out loans that aren't approved. Again. And they've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But the government deregulated these private banks to allow them to approve people loans that they shouldn't be qualified for.
Yeah, I mean, economic freedom was always tied to personal liberty. Always.
Yeah, it always has. The only problem with that is these banks will be so greedy to get these loans, to try to get all this money out of people, knowing that they'll foreclose on those loans.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, banks will sell those loans before they foreclose on them. So somebody's left holding a lot of toxic assets. And when everything's propped up and then that house of cards comes falling, who's left holding the bag? It's usually the American people.
Right. And the government can't control... They don't control the economy. They control people.
They control people, and
they can't control the jobs market. They control people.
And what I mean by that, or what we mean by that, as far as people, they can control the companies, because you look at a company, you could look at it as a person. So I'm going to control this company and prevent them from doing certain things.
Well, here's a perfect example: the IRS expansions.
Yeah.
Control through tax code.
Yep.
You know, look at the pandemic mandates and lockdowns.
Yep. Well, look at the longshoremen strikes that were trying to happen a couple of years ago, and the government said, "No, you're not going on strike."
So when does the government stop advising and start commanding?
Well, and that's the thing, is like, if they go to command, that could be a double-edged sword as well.
Yeah.
And we're in a very turbulent time in our country, because you got mass deportations with ICE, you got people struggling with ICE, and then you have rule of law that hasn't been followed. You're seeing a lot of individuals with mental illness committing all these crimes, and then they let him go because he's mentally unfit to handle trial. So where does he go? He goes back onto the streets, commits more crimes.
Yeah. So outside of legitimate functions, government does nothing well or as economically as the private sector. That was part of the quote.
Yeah.
Here's an example. UPS. USPS. FedEx. Which one of those is not underwater?
Yeah.
Amtrak. The airlines. Even private bus companies.
Yeah.
The DMV is a joke. It's a study in inefficiency.
Oh, yeah.
And the contrast with the private innovation, biotech, Silicon Valley, even space travel. NASA versus Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah. Well, you look at back even with the Soviet Union when they were around. Do you think that they were any good at providing food for the people?
When did the government actually do something better than the private sector? Do you know of anything? Highways, maybe? Which are falling apart.
Yeah. Well, you look at Universal Studios. Universal Studios here in Florida built a roadway. They built it super fast. It's beautiful. It looks great. And it functions flawlessly. And it was built in no time. And the city has a hard time fixing one road. It takes them over a year.
And then you get a sinkhole in it 6 months later.
Yeah, they got to fix it.
Look how long it took to fix Gore Street.
Yeah.
And all they were doing was updating the water and sewer lines. It took, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
And Universal had to update the water and sewer lines for some of the resorts there near Epic, and they were able to do it within a year.
Yep. So Reagan wasn't just quoting the founders; he was channeling their vision.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to try to go back to the founders' vision.
Right. You look at a lot of the stuff that the government highly regulates. It's either outdated or it's restricting people from competing with other companies.
Right.
So I don't believe in regulating, but I do believe in certain regulations. But the regulations need to be put in place to protect the people, not to hold the people back.
I agree.
It should be there to make things safer, like rule of law. And it shouldn't be there to imprison somebody for their constitutional rights, like Second Amendment issues.
I agree. So I think that pretty much covers it on this topic. And I know it's kind of a short one, but I think we got our point across.
Yeah. So like, share, subscribe, leave a comment.
Yeah. Let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah. Share the show.
Please. Let us know how we can do better.
Yep.
That too. All right.
Let me see if it ended.
Okay.